Hey, greetings everybody. This is Wesley Pepper, and this is the Lexcia podcast, and this is episode 126. And yeah, if you are new to this channel, you can help me by smashing that like and subscribe button. It definitely helps the podcast to grow and for YouTube to pick up the algorithms and all that other stuff. Because yeah, it's just me. But you know, guys. One more thing. Don't forget to check out the African Genius podcast, that collaboration that I do with myself, Kevula. The playlist is up on the Art Lexcia channel. We talk everything Pan-Africanist there, so that's a lot of fun. So check that out. And I guess just on my side, I've been saying this like probably for 2 years now, but the app is actually pretty close to finishing that, so I'm really looking forward to that. So I've been pretty much just focusing on that, and I've actually been starting to draw, but I'll do a separate episode on that in the future. But anyway, enough about all of that. I've got a really exciting guest. It's been a mission to get it's been a real mission to get a hold of him. There's been so many delays with electricity and this and that. But finally we have him here. We're talking to Don Afrika-Beukes, all the way in Brittany, in France. My brother first, like he said, welcome. Finally we're here. It's a Sunday afternoon.
Thank you.
How are you today? What's it like in France on a Sunday afternoon?
Well, I've just come back from Spain, where I spend 6 months of the year to get away from the winter. But I'm back now in France, so I'm catching up on a lot. And so and finally, I'm glad we could connect just now. But I think I've got the gist of getting into these kind of interviews as well.
Yeah. No, man, it's we had a bit of a scheduling thing to try to get you, but we are finally here. So I'm a serial note taker, right? So I've actually got 2 sets of notes about your work over here. So I think I'll just jump in. Like I said off air, on this platform, we're really interested in talking about artists' processes behind the writing. And one of the things that resonates strong that I picked up with your poetry, I think it's also I picked it up in one of your where you sort of writing to you wanting your writing to have a form of healing. You wanna connect with your audience. You're talking from a deeply personal space. It's very personally I love it. I've really got some of the titles down here, so I don't think I'm going to get into every single one, but I think that's going to make the thing a bit more complicated.
Understandably, yeah.
Yeah, man. But let's just start in the beginning, man. Can you just tell us where did your poetry journey start? And we'll pick it up from there.
Sure. Okay. I'll start by, I think, 2016. When I was still getting used to get some sort of European identity and actually trying to access listeners out there who has invested in my books and my poetry books, and over the years I've slowly but surely carved a sort of a space for myself. So it took a while for me to get used to the publishing world. My books are on Amazon and all the whichever platforms have the books available, and so I'm trying just to keep on point. So my first break was actually with Casper de Vries, the well-known Afrikaans malgat. What happened was I saw him getting ready one year, I think it's 2016, and he was going to have some artworks, very abstract artworks, but the artworks took the form of sort of, I don't know, some weird ape-like identities. I mean, he had his own reasons for doing that, but I decided to actually be voorbarig, forward, and I asked him, look, I can see things, I can see words, I can see themes in this upcoming exhibition. And because I was going to be forward, because I met him one year in Cape Town when he was still doing his rounds for his shows. So I just asked him, can I actually interpret these very weird family of apes, that like ape-like characters? And he said, yeah. And so what happened was, my reactions to this collection was actually exhibited up in Joburg somewhere at the Alice Art Gallery in Reimsig in Gauteng. And that's when my ekphrastic writing started, interpreting artworks. And it was quite a major thing for me, because as a colored or / black or whatever, I don't really conform to any anything,
I kind of picked it up in your writing. Yeah,
I'm a global citizen, and that's always my mantra, because of my journey to here, So basically, unfortunately, I today I'm still very proud of this collection, which became my very first what is called the ekphrastic poetry writing, where you interpret artworks. And so that is actually my niche of my writing. And there's not many people who do it. I'm in contact with two or three South Africans who will do the same genre, So I'm very proud of that, and I'm quite capable of doing it. And I've been doing it since 2016, apart from all my books. And talking about that, I need to reference things when I talk, otherwise I'm going to forget it to keep on point. So this, just quickly, this was my 2017 book, Icarus Rising, and this was actually my first ekphrastic collection, where my first ekphrastic collection was actually published in. So it's called Icarus Rising, and that's the stunning.
Could you just hold a bit still?
Yeah, that was the cover by a South African artist.
I'm done. I just want to come in there quickly. You were saying it's funny. Like I started in 2015. I published my first book in 2015, where I did the opposite. I got poets, and I was interpreting their work visually, and then through that I started a company, and then we eventually published 3 novels. But that's how I got my footing, I guess, in both the art and the publishing industry, by kind of doing the opposite. So I think that's quite an interesting connection you have there. And also, I just want to comment on how you interpret. I totally get that. I actually find some works, I'm talking artworks, really like there's so many layers, so many themes. You look at texture, you look at color, stuff like that. Though I totally get what you're saying there. So let me just ask you a thing from an art perspective. When you were saying about Casper Fisch's work, where there was like type of like weird shapes, what poetry were you writing about it? How did you interpret
for
it?
that
What?
for that
Yeah, yeah.
collection.
What? Yeah. What triggered it, and what themes were you using? And yeah, yeah. Let's. I like to
I'll
get
try. Yeah,
that.
I'll try my best. Let me just actually refer. Hang on. It's best if I refer to
Yeah,
that
man.
actually. Uh, just give me a. I'm just checking for where that actual. Right, here we go. So you probably know how expensive it is to bring out an art book with writing.
Yeah.
So this so there were 9 artworks in this. There's 9 artworks in the collection of the original exhibition, and so there's a what is called a quadrilogy. And because I'm Afrikaans, I had to look up the word. But when I mention quadrilogy, they think I'm talking an animal talk. So right, I want to show you
Yeah.
the first one. Okay.
Yeah. Please.
Okay. So this is in black and white. The first one in the collection of the 4. The first part is 4 poems, and it took on a family of 4 main characters. Okay, and this one is called Ganilunyo, but basically it was my weird sense of humor where the baby of the 4 in the quadrilogy is called Ganilunyo, and it's upside down, whatever, turning it around, but it's actually in Afrikaans Jongeling, the youngest. Yeah. And so if you want, so that's the image. And if you want to, and if you've got the time, I will read this first one of the quadrilogy.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Because yeah, let's do
So
that.
hang on. So just to
Let's read
show
it and then
the viewers afterwards, that's Ganilunyo,
yeah.
the first one in the quadrilogy. Okay.
John,
So
just before we start reading, just a technical question: is the original artworks also in black and white?
it's black. You the actual artworks?
Yeah.
No, it's all in color, but because of financial
Yeah.
constraints, but
So can you
I didn't complain.
so can you just give me a sense of like what color palette was using? Because I get a sense of it's very dark, very very somber type of color. So I would assume it's a lot of browns, maybe a lot of gray.
Very muddy. I would say muddy, and
Okay.
where the eyes are actually very white, which is the brightest
Okay.
image. It's unfortunate it's in black and white, but
No. That's just so we had like a nice sense of where the work come from. But like
yeah. So
we can go for it.
so I'm gonna go to the first one, and then you can choose to either just talk about the first one and then or another one. But anyway, there's lots to refer to.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm taking my. I see we've got the same
I noticed
kind
that
of.
too. I noticed.
That's very weird. That's why I decided to put it on. Anyway, right, here we go. Ganilunyo, part 1. It's in 4 parts.
Yeah.
They call me Ganilunyo. I'm aware my features disturb. You just cannot help yourself. With breath, gasping, hands frantically clasping, your whole being not grasping. Your heart instantaneously, a wreckage battling to absorb the message, questioning my metamorphosis. Was I constructed by dark forces? My UFO eyes leaving you mesmerized. Your thoughts, a galactic black hole clashing with your brainwashing. You mock and chastise me. My traumatic existence not free, my uniqueness not celebrated, my kind universally, heinously hated. My forefathers a vicious circle, my ruby fiery blue blood flow, gushing onto my biological glow. So there you are, liberated. Here I am, their clown confiscated, my kind intrusively stared at like a monstrous prehistoric conversus cat. If you could only take the leap momentarily, locking your prejudice streak, you might look at me and see your blinding reflection. Wouldn't you agree? I am you. They call me Benillingu, which translates to Jongelang, the youngest one. That's the first one in the quadrilogy.
Just something off the top of my head. The image looks very like aggressive, and the poem sounds like you're trying to make a really strong statement, like you're very confident, and like you're not willing to be moved, like you.
It's a very weird. It's a very weird collection to look at, and of course, I grabbed the opportunity to interpret it.
Interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. Is there another piece that we can have a look at?
Sure, I'll hang on.
So you say this book that
I'm not gonna. Hey.
No, I was going to say that you say Icarus Rising was published in 2016, huh?
Hang on. This is 2017.
2017.
This is my 2017 book, which was the second one. Yeah. I'll read one more, which is part 3. Like I said, there's 9 in the collection, but this is my favorite one, the quadrilogy. So I'm gonna interpret. I don't think that there's a image for this one, but we've had the youngest one, but there's one rebel in the quadrilogy, which I'm going to read now. Unfortunately, it doesn't have, so the words would speak for itself. This character is called Volcan, like a volcano. So here we go, part 3. My fiery baptized name is Volcan. I've beady, piercing, fire rock eyes like a falcon. My spiral temper burns and erupts like a gurgling volcano. If you dare look at me, adjust your gawping gaze, or I might blind you at this stage. My title was sparked by the royal Agnes Ednog. What he does not suspect is my steaming hatred with immediate effect. His heir is rumored to be announced for sure. He is known to me and you as that disgusting freak of nature, Benillingu. I dare not share my murderous thoughts or even divulge a slight hint. What do you think? The elders often meet in secret, sharing vicious tales and prophecies most sacred, igniting my swirling atomic anger, confirming my secret bloodline and crowning divine as rightful future defender. My death stare pearly midnight eyes witness things you dare not believe. Am I entitled to take what is rightfully mine? Disturb the current order sublime? You will most probably never understand my inner turmoil and heritage grand. It drowns me in a bottomless hole, tears me apart, my heart dark charcoal. So this is like a character in this quadrilogy, waiting to usurp, waiting to take over, waiting to yeah, to take over
I
with a
get a, I
false
get a.
smile.
I want to ask you something. Like, clearly you multilingual, right? So this is before. How many languages do you speak, and do you write it?
I only have published in Afrikaans, my first language, and English. There's I have done some stuff in French, but I am not fluent in French for whatever reasons. Um, Although I flitter between France and Spain. My headspace for languages is quite weird.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Have
So
you?
so like, do you write in Afrikaans? Spreek je in Afrikaans?
I, I write in. Yeah, I'm bilingual, obviously, for coming from Cape Town, South Africa. Um, there is an ebook out also online where I've collaborated with 3 other writers from Port Elizabeth in South Africa, and that's my ebook. It's called oh God, do you find sometimes you're
No,
going to
no,
refer to
no,
something and then
and it's just, if it's not on top of your head, it's not there. It's okay.
oh my
Because
God.
I wanted to ask, because I mean, I see that you name some of the titles in Afrikaans, and it's at Kaap's Afrikaans. So I sort of want to ask, what's the relationship between that? Like, do you because you say that you are a global citizen. I mean,
Mhm.
you're based in Europe, so clearly the medium there must be English. But there's also I mean, there is a market for like Afrikaans and people based abroad who sort of speaks in their mother tongue. Do you fit into that world, or you just, yeah, you get what I'm asking?
Yes. I my first book I'm actually was called The Salamander Chronicles.
Yeah. I want to get to this one. Oh.
So the reason I chose this is because of the legend of the salamander, which could, in legend terms or writing, is able to withstand fire and be reborn from fire. You see, so that was this is my first book, and the poems in here carries that theme of regeneration, of renewal. You know, so it's up to you
Yeah.
whatever I refer to. So
Okay.
you'll have to guide me if you want to listen to any
That's
of my books.
also really interesting. Like, because I read up on the salamander, no?
Mm.
Yeah. That's a very interesting. Is it a real animal? Just to start this.
Yeah. The salamander think of desert creatures, and think
So
of a desert lizard uh, yeah.
that's actually a very interesting a metaphor. Can I ask you? Well, maybe not too personal, but is that a personal? Did you is there a lot of personal
I
feelings
would
in how the
I would I would think so. Yeah. I think questions like that, obviously from different sources, I always find that my answers evolve. It definitely evolves. It depends who
yeah
asks. So
yeah, I get it. I get
to
it.
ask, okay. Here we go. So this will make more sense to you and the listeners. So my preface reads as following. All of us go through the storms of life, feeling like we are in a firestorm of circumstances, where sometimes we cannot see a way out and easily give up hope. We doubt our own strength and natural instinct to survive. In the animal kingdom, the salamander is a newt-like amphibian that typically has bright markings, once thought able to endure fire. In reality, some species can shed their tails during an attack and grow a new one. Others are able to grow back limbs and damaged organs lost in fights with predators due to a special immune system. Who are your predators in life? How many times do you have to defend yourself against your own beliefs and remain steadfast against those who oppose you? Each one of us has a shared humanity, although brittle and fragile at times. And despite cultural and religious differences, allow yourself to regain your confidence in life, despite the circumstances we all go through. And a quote from our great Mandela: "The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall." Nelson Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom. Let us all help each other to get up after a fall.
That's a very, very interesting metaphor. Yeah, there's so many things I'd like to actually unpack there. And I see how that sort of relates to, especially coming from South Africa. And I like the whole thing of like growing another tail, and sort of, to withstand heat or pressure. I mean, it can be interpreted in so many ways. And I mean, like, the scales on you can withstand pressure, basically. I think that's a very interesting metaphor. Um, let's actually, I actually like to sort of jump into that, and sort of explore like how these different metaphors that you're using in your work, how you're using them, and in like future projects. Moving into 2024 and above and all of that. But let's just wrap up the session here. I see the time is beating here, so I'll just send you a link to the and to the next session, and we can pick up all of those things in a few minutes time. All right.
Okay.
All right. So I'll catch you now.
Sure.
I love it. And I'll explain why. I'll explain to you why. Everybody, we are back just after the break. So just to recap real quick, Don, like I was saying, like I really, really love the metaphor behind the salamander for many, many reasons. Just a real quick personal thing. I chose the city bird that you find in every city all over the world. I chose that as my sort of as my alt ego, and I've been working and doing artwork around the city. But actually, I call it the city vagabond, and I have three I have three characters, and they always feature. There's a narrative. In fact, I've been making a living of that for much over 20 years now. So it's really, for me, it's fascinating how artists choose certain animals, in your case birds, in mine, and how they see or relate to some of their personal characteristics, habits, and so forth, etc., etc., and how that sort of speaks on behalf of them. I know a lot of musicians that do that in multiple genres of music, and visual artists, of course, and writers as well. So I think that is fascinating. It also says, I guess if somebody wants to know what Don Baker's writer is about, they should they should look at that. But let's take it up from there, because one thing that also came across really strong is like you're willing to collaborate with visual artists and writers and so forth. Let's just just tell me a little bit about that, man. How do you firstly, are you working with somebody at the moment? And is there sort of a process that you go and say, okay, I want to work with you? Or is there a what what is it that drives you? Say, hey, man, this year moves me. Let me.
Sure. Thanks for the question. Yeah. So currently, I haven't opened up my email because since 2016, I've been exclusively published my ekphrastic writing, most of my ekphrastic writing with South African and international artists. I've just lost my train of thought.
We were talking about.
Just remind me again.
We were talking about sort of the process and you collaborating with various people. You were talking about.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. So I was busy saying since 2016 I've been featured in my ekphrastic poetry solely based on artworks. I'm here to open today. It's called Glowmag, and it's the editor is Glory Sasikala, and she brings out a huge collection of poetry and well, mostly poetry. But in my case, I can proudly say, as a South African writer and a global writer, that I am hopefully with you, and you are yet to explain to me your process for imagery and so on. So that's afterwards. So yeah, so I haven't opened my email, but I know that my current this month's collection I'll share it with you afterwards. But mine this month's collaboration is with Jonelle Skoltz, and her paintings is in my ekphrastic collection, which is Icarus Rising. So Jonelle Skoltz is someone that I've worked from day one when I started my ekphrastic. And so basically I'm very forward, and when a painting jumps up out at me, I grab it and I get very forward, and I say, look, give me this painting and I'll do magic with it. So I will share. Look out for it when I share it online and on Facebook later today.
It's interesting. Just a point there, and I've noticed this with many artists. You just know. You can't really explain it. You look at it, it makes sense. You just know. I guess the brave ones, and I do mean brave because not it's not for everybody. The brave ones will you say forward. I get it, but like you see it, you say like that's it, and there's no ambiguity.
Yes.
It's like that's it. I get it. I totally get that.
I can't explain my own mind.
It is. It's just something you know. And I guess like because you are confident in your ability, in your processes, your talent, you just know, and you know it'll work and how it'll work. Just to answer the early question about what I did, like I was and I think it's interesting similarities. I was like my early 20s. I was at an artist school studio. I was looking for that was in Utah back printmaking. Basically, it was for visual artists to go and to learn and blah blah blah. So I used to always work. I mean, I went to art school in the mid 90s, and I didn't really fit in. I wasn't a predominantly just Afrikaner, and I was a different person back then. So through this and through that and through this and that, I'm Pan-Africanist. I'm also agnostic, and I'm also very political. I'm a bit of a history buff as well. So I guess I was well schooled of my identity and all of this, and I wanted to get something that speaks to me. So I chose a bird for many reasons. Firstly, out of its natural environment, and I always saw that of
Mm-hmm.
myself. I tried to leave sort of my comfort zone and go somewhere unnatural. And back then, the inner city. I mean, I lived in the city for like 20 years, man, and I can tell you now that
Mm-hmm.
it's a terrible place. It's very
Ah,
harsh. There's a lot of beauty to it, yes, and I exploited it,
and
but
gritty.
after
And
after
gritty
after
as well.
gritty, there was also a real strong the energy. There was also a lot of noise. It was always loud, and there was a sense of beauty about
Mm.
that. But I guess after years, I stuck to this. Now it's just noise. Back then, I could see it. Now it's just like get that shit out of my. And then with COVID,
Yeah.
anyway, before I get to COVID, so the bird had to sort of personify those elements. And I like the fact one of the main things that really drew to the bird was that it wasn't scared of people. So any other animal, you just
Mm.
you just make a sound, and the bird didn't
Yeah.
respond. It would look back at you and sometimes even walk towards you. I like that. I always thought that it had no fear. It overcame its fear, and
Yeah.
I was inspired by it. It's kind of weird to say, but it was definitely something I admired.
I can see some winged artwork there to your
Yeah,
left.
no. As I said, the birds are all over my brother.
So,
I'm gonna rearrange this wall a bit later. There's some stuff I
uh,
want to add here.
so,
So
so are you saying live on air that you're going to be my next
I think so, man.
Ekphrastic
I
partner?
think so. I've been having a real shitty 2023. I've been making no art for the entire year. It's the first
Mm.
time in 30 years I made no art for the year. And there's method behind
Mm.
that. Firstly, I'm exhausted as fuck, and I've also got some personal things, this and that, and that took a chunk out of
Mm-hmm.
my life. I started a new company, and I'm looking to. I'll tell you about that, but I'll do that off air because that's a whole different ballgame, and I don't want to drift too far off where we are.
Sure.
But I'm developing a platform for artists, a streaming platform. It's going to be video based. So
Mm.
basically, artists will upload their work, but you all do that off your phone. We want to move into VR and really cool tech things, man. And
Yeah.
because my thing was that I just like the bird, I totally adapted to my environment, but eventually I got sick and tired of it. Um,
Mm.
I just got sick and then COVID happened, and then I lost my apartment and this and that, and I had to
Mm.
move. Eventually, it was a no-brainer, and as I said, I got really sick and tired of the way the art industry is working. I find that we are living in an era now where we are. I mean, like we are connecting through a device. We're having a human connection through a device. So I'm looking to
Mm.
exploit that. And I've got a real strong entrepreneurial bone. I mean, I've started two companies that failed. One was mine. I collaborated with somebody else, and I don't even
Mm.
know what they're doing anymore. Um, but I
Failure
was
failure is good sometimes.
it's tough. I'll tell you it's tough. Tough because, but like what it did to me, I know exactly what I want, and I know exactly how I want to do it. And I guess post COVID, I've also been a lot more patient than anything else. Whereas in the past, I had like
Mm.
fuck all patience. I got like zero patience. Which is also why I
Mm.
kind of related to the bird. The bird also kind of looked to me like someone who just didn't take shit. Like it'll just fly away or like he at you or something.
Mm.
Like right now, I think that's one thing that I definitely learned a lot. But um, so just back to that collaboration. So what I've been doing over the past week, it actually came very naturally, and I wanted that. I've been sketching. Just hold on. Okay. Then I must get up, and it's here somewhere. So I don't want to go too far. But like I have. No, it's not yet. But I've been uh I've been playing around with the bird. With the bird, I've sort of developed another not version but another style. I'm sort of just playing around with it, seeing if So what I'm also really tuned into is how art has shifted since COVID. Whereas
Mhm.
whereas art is now, because people are working a lot more at home, people's movements have changed. I mean, we
Yeah,
struggle just to schedule this year because we have all these other outside things that we can't control. Those things
sure.
are all impacting how artists are working and what they're working on. And I guess I'm just a product of that. So
Have
so
you
so
done? Have you done? And have you? Sorry. Have you done animation?
I wanted to. Yeah, animation's kind of expensive because you need to pay, and
Mm.
I can't do it on my own. Most of the projects, all the projects that I did in the past, how many years, I made sure I can at least do one thing on my own, manage it.
Mm.
And animation is a bit of but like that is definitely something I want to. Also, I'm also really interested in collaborating with on or using technology for
Yeah.
example, like on different platforms and using video, lights, etc.
You
That's
said
something I've
you
been.
mentioned. Did you mention Gary?
Yes, 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 yes. Those are the that yeah.
He did. I collaborated with him and Garth Erasmus.
Yeah, yeah. I know, God.
Yeah.
Just
So
tell me a little bit
work
about
with
that,
him.
because that animation and your poetry. What came first? Did the art? Did you see the artwork first, or did Gary come to you, and then how did?
Um, mm, I like I said, I am researching South African poets because first and foremost, I always want to work with South African artists first. You see, so I asked Gary to actually let me do an ekphrastic stuff of his painting. So that's how I got to know him, and then it evolved into animation where Garth Erasmus came in, and I will share with you at some point to to show what is on my YouTube. Um, you might see
Yeah,
something on my YouTube as well. I'll send you the links afterwards.
yeah, for sure. And just to my listeners, like I'll add those links to the episode's description. So if you're watching this podcast and you're looking forward, just go to the description. All the links should be there as well. Don,
Mhm.
just to get back to that kind of with Gary, what I really liked about that was its size. So firstly, it looked very cool on a phone, on a phone or a tablet, but specifically a phone. I thought the size was something interesting. You also the ones I saw you also talking in Afrikaans or Kaaps Afrikaans. I know there's a difference. The
Yeah,
Afrikaans we speak more in Joburg Kimberley is different to Kaaps. So that's also another topic I'd like to talk about that, like, because I find there's a
sure.
anyway it's but yeah, I find that is that's also something I'm interested in, because I think the future for the arts is how people interact with the
Mm,
art on your device. And I've noticed that a lot of the old guard, and this is a point I want to make about entrepreneurship in the arts. I talk a lot. I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs on this channel as well. Post COVID, there's been fuck all. There's been zero. Everything in the arts was just business as usual. Everything that worked pre-COVID and didn't work pre-COVID is supposed to be working
mm,
now. I think that's foolish. I think there's also a much larger audience that we can tap into digitally, and there's also what you can monetize it. I mean, there's all these other things. I don't really want to get into that in this episode, but yeah,
yeah,
I just wanted to sort of
I can't
and
wait
that's sort of
for your. Yeah, I
no,
can't
no,
wait
just do
for what you can show
that.
me.
What I will do is I'll do it when we're done recording. Yeah, I'll just take images and some of those, because there's three that I think is strong enough that can become something. I think is a good starting point. And one can just take it from there. Look, man, I basically live in the studio. I'm here whole day, every day. Hence why with the podcast, I'm very flexible. So I'm always here, and I like it that way. I found that in this space here really gives me I can sort of shut out the world. I can just I
The
like
world.
it's by design basically. It's by
Yeah.
design. And like sort of this is moving forward into with uh future projects on your side. I noticed that you were pretty busy post COVID, like few books. Um, like we're moving into 2024 in a few months. There's this
Mhm.
tech revolution happening. It'll be interesting to talk about how's that in France in the future. Because here in South Africa, as you know, like everybody is still just operating off Facebook and Instagram.
Mhm.
Incredibly limiting, and these people are becoming anyway. The tech industry is not our friend. These platforms are not our friends. I've
Yeah.
noticed that a lot of that a lot of artists, yeah, it's just business as usual. People are still doing musicians are still doing live gigs.
Mhm.
You have a few book fairs coming up next month. The art fairs are still the same. I still want to work to a point here, so just bear with me. Um, I've also noticed that a lot of, as I said, it's just business as usual. I've also noticed a little, not much in terms of experimentation in
Mhm.
and especially in growing new audiences, which is something I'm very passionate about. I'm actually quite frustrated as fuck about the traditional art audience. It's like I know everybody, and honestly, I don't want them to buy my work because I don't think they will appreciate. I don't think they appreciate it because it's just there's just a
Mhm.
monetary value attached to it. And I think my work and myself, I think I'm bigger than that. So I'm really passionate
Yeah.
in growing audiences, specifically in SADC, in the SADC countries. I think there's a large audience there, and we'll get hold of them on a device. The days of taking a huge show to Zim, to Harare, those days are over. Everybody has access
Mm.
to it now. Everybody. And if you want to see something, you will view it because we spend more time in South Africa. This is an interesting fact. In South Africa, YouTube is the third biggest search engine. It just shows you
Okay.
how much time we were spending visually on things. So with that said, in
Mhm.
moving forward, as a writer in 2023 in a post-COVID world, living in France, moving forward, what type of projects are you going to be? Besides just collaboration, like where would you like to move to? What would you like to write about? And those type of things.
I've I think I can refer to me dabbling in sci-fi.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have I have got hang on. So in my 2020 book, Sic, it's called Sic Transit Gloria Mundi, and it's in Latin. It translates to thus passes. Sorry, thus passes the glory of this world. Sic transit Gloria Mundi.
It almost sounds religious.
Yeah, but I just want to read to you what
Yeah,
because
please.
I found it easy actually to go into short stories and flash what they call flash writing,
Yeah, flash fiction. Yeah.
like short stories. Um, this one I thought has a sort of a sci-fi vibe to it, and it's called it's a trilogy, and it's the trilogy of M, where M backwards is actually me.
Ah,
So
okay.
yeah, I do that a lot just to be quiet. This is This is part 2 of this trilogy in my 2020 book. It's called Trilogy of M, and this is part 2. And the first title in this is called Red Mist. Here comes that red mist again, lingering in the crevices of my failing being. I need to remember to control my breathing, just for a fraction longer than the last time. It's thickening now, swirling around my head like a bubbling lava cauldron, spitting fiery embers each time I attempt to escape through it. I cannot fail again. If I'm ever going to get her out of my head, I will just have to get through this and stop doubting myself. Shut up! Stop trying to read my empty thoughts. I will not let you in. Damn her! Just as I was beginning to gather the strength and willpower to bury her deeper than ever before, I allowed her serpent voice to make me question myself again. This is not good at all. No, something will have to change drastically if I am to leave this ivory fortress. The sudden crack in my head must be the voice again. Attention, all lights will be switched off sooner than you think. If anyone even as much as breathed discontent or vile revolutionary thoughts, you will spend the night in the Oval. Not again, not now. Not that I've worked so hard to convince my minder guarding my exit. He and his loved ones will not be safe unless I leave this hell fest tonight. That's just a dabbling in short story writing. But it takes on a sci-fi sort of twist where there's all these droids and they all connected by whatever energy and so on and so on. So my mind gets very weird sometimes. But it gets really violent as well. So my mind is quite strange.
It's funny that what was sci-fi 20 years ago is now considered just reality. So in some cases, I think science fiction as a genre actually forecasts a lot of, especially the human behavior. That's that I like that, man. When you think about violence, I think a lot of people can relate to that across the globe. Actually, I think a lot of people are frustrated, and maybe there's some sense of release valve in some form of violence when you see on TV. Maybe not experiencing it yourself, of course, but maybe I'm just talking from a personal point here. But I get that. Also, just another point on sci-fi, because I follow a lot of trends across everything. It's a real big trend in movie, in series, movies, etc. And it's quite profitable these days. It's interesting because since this quote-unquote dystopian nightmare of COVID, the hard lockdown started, it's interesting how people interpret how people interpret sci-fi. I think that's fascinating. Also make you fascinating.
I've actually I'm trying my best for an Irish chappie who does AI on exclusively on Twitter, but there's one of his AI generated videos, animation, which I am gunning to. I have written a response to it, but he only allowed me to give a fraction of a response to his AI work. So I'm still hunting him to actually because he's only on Twitter, but he hasn't yet allowed me to use his animation, so his AI creations. So that's that's something I would really love
There's a
to
lot of
get my reaction to his work.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that there's some AI animation tool that's for free. That you
Mm,
can search. I think I'll search, and if I find something, I'll send it to you. Even for myself, they are these AI tools are becoming quite cool. Actually, I use some of them a lot for the recording of those podcasts.
yeah.
Actually, the AI interprets everything for me, and I won't give all my secrets online. Away. I have to keep something.
Never.
In case I won't do it while I'm
Definitely. Yeah.
online. But I use two AI tools to be exact.
Okay.
Uh, so that's fascinating the way the world is moving into and the way artists are adapting. I think that's fascinating. I think it's also really interesting how artists are identifying new markets, because I think that in using these tools and using these, for example, animation, you tap into,
Mm,
existing market. And just moving forward and sort of like in closing, because we can sort of wrap up over here. I mean, it's in South Africa, we're now in the heart of summer, which is the best time of the year.
yeah.
It's nice and warm.
Lucky
Uh,
you.
yeah, that's one of the. If you listen to this podcast, yeah, I don't like winter. I'm not a, I'm not a,
Me
I'm not a
neither.
the cold. Anything but the cold. So with summer, in my opinion, things just open up. I think. Yeah, I
Mm,
think I think just open up. So I think that this recording definitely falls into that place. I almost feel energetic.
mm,
I'll definitely share some of that work that I've been. I would just call them sketches, but there's definitely a direction that is going to, and I'll share that with you. Can you
sure.
just tell my writers if any of them want to view your work? Where can they
Hmm.
do that? Platforms, email addresses, that type of thing that you can share with my listeners.
Oh, that's a question. um, well, follow me on Facebook
Or
first.
yeah, or social media pages.
Yeah. Well, I would say check my like I mentioned Glowmag and my ekphrastic work there. And today I will later on reveal the latest South African artist, Jonelle Scholes, with my writing interpreting her artwork.
For
So
sure.
that's one thing if anyone wants to go on today or whatever. But check my Instagram. Or the thing is, I'm not. I'm slowly getting all these opportunities to to get my work out on all the platforms, but I'm almost there to monetize it. As you know, Facebook monetizes creative stuff now, so that's going to be my next point.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah, to actually.
yeah, just to my
Mm.
listeners, like yeah, it's Don Afrika-Beukes on all the social media platforms. And it's Wesley Pepper if you're looking at my stuff. That's Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm not on TikTok.
And YouTube,
Oh,
there's
and
some of
YouTube,
my
yeah, and YouTube. I
YouTube. YouTube has some of the animations that I've put up there
yeah, and I
on
will
my
I will add some of those. I'll
on
add
my
some of those
YouTube. Yeah,
for sure.
I'll
I'll add
give
some of
you
those.
I'll give you the links, and then it's up to you
Yeah,
to where you
yeah,
share
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll add it on the
yeah.
description page, and it'll be up there.
I'll send it
Um,
to you by end of day.
for sure, for sure. Don, this was worth the wait. This is like my
Yeah,
second.
definitely. Thank you so much. I've been feeling so guilty with this yeah, technology
Yeah,
not working.
I was joking. I was joking.
I know how you feel now.
The load shedding thing has killed everything, especially and I just got a notification on my
Yeah.
phone while we're recording actually that we might actually be load shed in about, I think, in about 2.5 hours time. So Yeah,
Maybe
there
you
you have.
should. Maybe you should invest. Maybe you should invest in voltaic panels. Some.
Hey man, like that's the idea. These things are
Uh,
expensive, my king. But we
I
are looking
know. I know.
to there's a few more things that we are definitely looking to get off the grid. It's just like it's just
Mm.
super so expensive. But I also find that it was such a necessary thing in 2023. Even if it wasn't for load shedding, I think it's important to
I know it's
we
in. I
can't
know
we
it's.
can't trust these guys.
I know it's. I know that technology is very expensive. Hopefully, the South African government can pull their finger out and and make even the smallest machine to go 50% off the grid. You know, at least to look to the future to have the smallest unit to locally control their own electricity
Yeah,
input, you
yeah.
know?
It'll also be cool to see moving forward if as artists and as entrepreneurs we can. I know there's a few entrepreneurs that's very keen to do that. Right, talking to start our own little consortium and we sort of work off that. But all of those things are definitely work in motion. My brother, this was as I mentioned, this was great. I will
We
publish this
need
episode.
we need a longer time.
What I will do is I'll definitely share some of that work with you for sure. I'll do it till today,
Sure,
uh,
excellent.
sure, and we can just
No
just
pressure. No
just
pressure.
run with it, to see whatever. I'm definitely keen to see how that'll work out. But rather, like, listen, closing, to all my listeners, guys, thanks for coming. Remember to smash that like and subscribe button if you enjoy this conversation or you want to support this channel. I keep forgetting to mention I am on Patreon. I don't know why I keep not mentioning it.
Patriot.
I am on Patreon,
Patriot.
so yeah, check that out. That's also our people if they want to sponsor you, basically give you money.
Mm.
Yeah, you use
Yeah.
that app. Um, I actually don't know many local guys that's making money off of it, but I know a lot of international cats are. But yeah, I am on that.
Patriot.
Maybe not with that French. That sounds that sounds sounds a bit too French. I think, and straight I'll give you the spelling real quick. I've got the app. No, I can't find it. But it's just
Yeah,
Patreon.
okay.
Yeah, you just
Fine.
I can't find that. Yeah.
Thank you
So
thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
yeah, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon, man. I will publish this episode
You too.
next weekend. We'll be in touch, my brother. Take care, man.
Excellent. We will be in touch. All the best.
One love, my king.
Keep creating.
You too.
Bye.